introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what your Instagram handle is.
I'm Tara. Been riding, I think I started riding when I was about 5. Grew up in the bush. My Instagram handle is Tars.83.
Tars83, so she's pretty well known on Instagram in the Perth circles.
Yeah, a lot of people know me. Riders, just go up and say hello, and we're all doing the same thing that we love doing. It's riding. There's no point being rude or
Exactly.
shy. Like, if you're shy, get out there and just say g'day.
And do you find it's easy to make friends when you have a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Perth community is really, really good. It has their moments, but it's still a really good community.
Yeah, it's been good to me so far, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what got you into riding motorcycles?
I grew up in the bush. I grew up in Eden in New South Wales. So everyone's either got acreage or you live in town. Lived on the farm with all my cousins. My dad and his brother are really, really close. So they worked for Pop carting logs, and yeah, we all lived out on the farm and had Pee-wee 50s, as you do. Me and my 3 cousins, older cousins. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you've been on the bike since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, as they say.
Yeah.
All right, and tell us about that, getting on the bike for the first time, remembering back that far.
Oh, geez, I think I stacked it the first time I got on it.
Yeah.
Being a bit of a smart ass. Just took off, flat stick, and got a bit ahead of Dad, and yeah, just went a gutser. Got back on, as you do, get straight back on.
But the beauty about that is that, you, like you said, you've got all that acreage and all that land. You can't afford to make a few mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
You can afford to do a few illegal things as well, and nobody's going to belt you over the hand for
We
it.
learnt to drive the car in the paddock.
Yeah.
One tree stump, it's me and all my friends in the car, teaching them how to drive. I was like 8 years old. One tree stump, we found it. Dad's come out and he's like, how did you manage?
How did you manage that? Target fixation.
Yeah, I don't know, we're just talking.
Yeah. And so the love for bikes came from a very young age.
Yeah, so my dad, my pop, all my uncles, they all ride. When they were younger, they've all ridden as well. Cousins don't really ride as much anymore. My cousin's husband, they all ride though. All got dirt bikes and stuff. So.
And what kind of bike did Dad have?
Dad had an old Honda 450. I think, I can't quite remember. It was an old black and white one, old school one.
And Granddad?
I wouldn't be able to tell you what Pop had.
Yeah.
I know he had an old school mailbox, like the mail delivery.
Oh, the postie bike.
He had one of them.
Nice.
I know he had one of them because we used to scoot around the shed on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what kind of bikes he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tars gets a little bit older, and then she goes for her motorcycle license.
So I actually got my license by fluke.
All right.
So I had my scooter license before I had my car license, and somewhere in the system it got mucked up. So we moved to Darwin when I was 23, 24, and they stuffed it up and put it as an R license instead of RE.
Right.
So kind of fluked it that way.
Okay, so you did the right thing, of course, and you told them you stuffed
Yeah, I
it.
told them, and they're like, sat one bike test, and they'll go, "You're right, you know what you're doing." So I bought a Kinlan 200cc little dirt bike thing up in Darwin, and when it wasn't raining, I was out on the streets and out bush on that.
Nice.
Everyone's like, "What's a Kinlan?" I'm like, "It's a cheap Chinese motorbike. They don't even make them anymore."
No.
Yeah, so that's at home at Serpentine at Mum and Dad's in the shed.
You still got it.
Yeah.
Right, does it still run?
Still runs.
Amazing.
It needs a bit of work. The clutches, like the levers have all broken on it, tyres are flat. So.
Well, if that's all that's wrong with it after 20 odd years, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, my cousin's husband got it started for me. So
oh, wow.
Dad's like, "Oh, he's like, their youngest can have it." And I'm like, "Dad, no. He doesn't know how to ride that well. It's a 200. And he's like, "I forgot,
Yeah.
I bought a KLX 250 when I lived in Mackay. So I've been all around Australia with my mining industry. So I got into mining when I was 19. Just grew up in Kalgoorlie. So it was either mining or being a barmaid, and I don't like being a barmaid.
I think bike's the better option. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so that was where KCGM, most people in Kalgoorlie start mining. I started in the lab and went out to the nickel smelter out there, and on our weeks off we'd boys would go out and back at Cowtails and go bike riding, so you tag along with them. And I got into horses as well. So when I wasn't on dirt bikes, I was out on horses.
Yeah.
Got really good competing on horses.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of superiority, I certainly feel anyway, when you're on two wheels.
Yeah.
I don't know about horseback riding, but there must be a similar feeling when you're riding a horse.
It's all right when they listen. They've got their own brain, and sometimes they forget it.
Yeah, I suppose that's the advantage of having a motorcycle, is that it listens to you.
Oh,
most of the time, yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
not all the time.
All right, so you
Yeah.
eventually found your way to Perth.
So yeah, I bought my house. My best mates, I've been best mates with her for over 30 years. She's always been a Perth girl.
Awesome.
I met her in Kalgoorlie when we were teenagers. So when we moved to Darwin, she was having a really hard time. She lost her brother and she just wasn't coping, so I came home. And yeah, I haven't left. I moved to Mackay in 2017, but I bought a house before then.
Yeah.
Bought my house in Armidale, I think 2012. Had that for a while and moved to Mackay and got into dirt bike riding over there because it's too old for horses these days. It hurts too much when you fall off.
Fair enough. It's a long way to fall down.
It is, and it takes a lot longer to recover as you get older.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so tell me when the Harley Davidson comes into the story.
So I fell pregnant during COVID. Unfortunately lost baby.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Happens. And my dad's got a Road King, and my uncle's got a 2012 Heritage, and I really wanted a bike. Just didn't know what I wanted. Dad's bike, I love riding it, but it's so big and it's so heavy. Like he had works done to it, and I said to my uncle, "Can I have a ride on yours?" And he's like, "Yeah, go for it." And I fell in love with the Heritage straight away. Jumped online. Kim Britton had a 2010 Heritage, and I said to Dad, "Can we go and have a look at it?" Because I still had my KLX at that stage too. He's like, "Yeah, we'll go and have a look at it." Went for a ride, and I'm like, "I want this bike." So they gave me trade-in, really good trade-in on my KLX, and I bought the Heritage.
Very good.
And then a few years later, I started coming out on rides, and that's when I met everyone and seeing all the sports bikes. So it was like, this looks fun. And
I have noticed that the Perth scene in particular, like I don't know about the other cities or any other places in the world, but Perth is very sports bike oriented.
You'll find it's like we've got a heap of mates in Brisbane and they're all the same. Like a couple of the boys got Harleys, but the rest are all on sports bikes.
Do you think that maybe the mindset with the sports bike crew is that if you're not on a sports bike, then the alternative is maybe like a Harley Davidson kind of bike?
Well, everyone's got sumos now.
Yeah.
So it's sort of broken up from the sports to the sumos, and like Harley was huge before, but it's just all over the shop. So
Yeah, there's a lot more diversity these days. I ride an Italian thing. It's not a Ducati. It's a Benelli, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm hard pressed to find anybody else who rides a Benelli like that one at the moment. I know of one other guy in Rockingham, but that's Rockingham, and he's like 75, and
yeah,
but anyway, it's when they say you've got a one of a kind bike, I've got a one of a kind bike.
literally you have a one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty about the Perth scene with motorcycles, is that there's so much diversity and everyone's cool with the ride you have. Did you find that as well?
Yeah, when I first came out, I always felt like the odd one out because everyone had their sports bikes and that, but everyone's just so welcoming anyway. And like Rangi's always saying, you know, it's two wheels, one love for a reason. That's a passion, you know. It doesn't matter what you ride, you know, you're getting out there having a ride. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
That's right, yeah. And bike riders are pretty cool. They're a cool group.
They are.
Yeah. Now, because I joined Instagram with my account only a few months ago, but it was around that time, around September, August, that you had a pretty significant accident on the bike.
I did.
Yeah.
I lost my beloved Z. I only had it for 4.5, 5 months. So I caught up with Kimbo Stunts and Yamas for coffee. We're up at Hillary's. We met at Zigzags and just rode down. It would have been about 3 o'clock, 3:30. We started heading home. The traffic stopped on the freeway. So I live in Armidale, so I get off at North Lakes Road in Coburn, and it was just up near Fiona Stanley, so it was in between that area. The traffic just stopped, and I wasn't speeding. I was sitting on about 60, 70 Ks, and obviously cars stop a lot quicker than bikes, and I locked my front and rear bike, like brake, to try and stop. And then I tried to go down the emergency lane and I clipped the corner of her tail. I hit her steel tray ute. So I remember everything like it was yesterday. I remember seeing her face in the rearview mirror when I hit her car. Like, she went straight into shock. I felt so bad. I remember hitting it. I didn't feel my leg at the time because I was more worried about my thumb. So I'm like, that's my accelerator hand, you know. I remember going down, sliding. I came to, like, shuffled up onto the curb, looked at my bike, and I'm like, sorry, pardon me. So, took my helmet off, and I knew something wasn't right with my thumb because I just couldn't get my helmet undone. So I took my helmet, balaclava, gloves off. I went to stand up, and I was just winded, so I just laid down, and within a minute, there was a set of hands on my neck, like, don't move. So there was an accident down the road. I didn't realise. That's why the traffic just stopped so quickly. But I had 2 nurses who just finished at Fiona Stanley behind me, who'd seen the whole thing, a school principal, and an ambulance that was going to the other accident. So within 2 minutes, I had nurses, ambulance, everyone. I had mum and dad on the phone. That's the worst phone call I've ever had to make. Ringing mum and dad to have an accident. Mum freaking out. I'm like, it's all good, I'm alive. It's the main thing. Bike's looking a bit shit. And I didn't, like I said, it wasn't until they said something about my leg. By then I was high. They started to pump me full of drugs. The officer said it looked like I was going to lose my leg.
Holy shit.
So like I said, I had that much adrenaline running through my body in shock, like laying on the side of the highway, because I've done ERT, emergency rescue up on site. So you kind of know the signs to look out for. So like I started shaking and I'm like, yep, I'm going into shock. And I just kept talking to the ambulance and they're like, you're so calm. And I'm like, I know what's going on. I'm like, I'm not silly, you know. And I'm like, is everything all right down there? And she's like, oh, I'm seeing stuff I really shouldn't be seeing her. Jeez. And I'm like, oh, damn, is it that bad? She's like, wow. Yeah. So they put 5 litres of water on my leg to try and flush all the stuff out of the hole.
Yep. So we're talking like gravel and dirt and grit. Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything on that Kwinana freeway. Like I had all sorts of shit in my leg. When I got to Royal Perth, they put another 5 litres through. They done a betadine wash as well. I felt that. That made me squeal. Did not like that at all. And then some more water. And then the next day, they just wrapped my leg up. So I was trying to figure out what to do. So I stayed in trauma for 3 days before I went into plastics. The second day, I just said to the nurses, can I stand up? And they're like, oh. And I'm like, for my own mental, I know I'm not 100%, but I'm not broken, you know? So I just stood up, it drained me for like 2 seconds, just to stand up and be like, let my body like, yep, we're okay, we're gonna be okay. Then I slept for like 4 hours after that. Yeah.
So suffice to say, there was a bit of a gash.
Yeah, so what actually happened was where the indicator and brake lights are, she had a steel bar around that, and that's what I hit with my leg. So
it sliced your leg open?
It took out the whole top of my leg, but I had no muscle damage, no tendon damage. I got free liposuction. 0 stars, do not recommend it. Yeah, so it was just, they said I was very lucky. And then I just broke a bone in my hand. That was it.
Yeah.
That's all that happened. So
now I started following you around the same time the accident happened, when you were in recovery. Yeah. And you shared the occasional photo of the recovery process. Yeah. And I appreciate the fact that you blurred some of the photos. You put the warning up. I saw one photo, and that's pretty gnarly.
That would have been the one. So that photo that I shared, which is the open leg one, was the first time I'd actually seen it open myself.
Yeah, right.
Because they just wouldn't let me see it, and I understand now. So I got a really bad bacteria from the freeway, and it took them ages to try and kill it. Wow. So I was going in every second day to get cleaned, my leg cleaned, try and cut out what they can, doing more tests because of this bacteria. And they were like, we'll try killing it with betadine. So for 2 days, I just had betadine wraps on there, and that was the first time I seen my leg as the photo that took. It was a lot. Like, I hadn't shown, it wasn't that I wasn't emotional, I knew what was going on. And the nurses are like, are you okay? You know, you haven't cried. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. Like, I know what's happened. Like, if it was malicious and completely out of the blue, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But it was just a freak accident, so I knew what had happened. I sat there and lifted my leg, and I just bawled my eyes out. And the nurse come in, and she's like, because I got to know all the nurses really well. She's like, you okay? And I'm like, it's just a lot. Like, it's a lot to take in. Like, righto, yep, this has happened, this is what it looks like. And then from there, you sit there and you're like, right, this is how we're going to tackle it from now. And just went from there and like, yep, right, see my leg. They explained what happens. Like, next was, because they finally got rid of the bacteria, right, next is skin grafts. Like, yep, sweet as. So I knew the steps that were coming.
Yeah.
Skin graft hurt like hell. That hurt more than my leg. That is like gravel rash times 10. Like, I come out of surgery and I'm like, oh, cut it off. Just don't get it off now. She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And so they took all my skin from my right thigh, left thigh, and put on my right one.
Wow.
Yeah, so a skin graft can take about 4 months to heal. It took 9 weeks.
Wow.
And I was back at work in 10 weeks.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, because I want to make this kind of a practical lesson for the people that watch this video as well, let's talk about the gear you were wearing during the accident.
It's very funny you should bring that up. I nearly wasn't going to wear more of my riding gear. I had a pair of jeans, just a normal pair of jeans, because my riding pants were actually dirty, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'll wash them when I get home tomorrow, you know? So I ended up tucking my Xena jeggings on, which were armoured anyway. I had my Fox armour under a Street Mob hoodie, my gloves, and the shoes that I'm wearing now.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so like I said, it could have been very different. I was just going to wear my normal jeans, but I don't know, something just sort of clicked inside, like, nah, just put normal, doesn't matter if they're a bit dirty, you know, it's only the boys, they're not going to judge you. And I'm so glad I did. So besides what happened to my leg, I slid for 50 metres and I got a hole about that big on the left side of my knee.
Jeez.
From my leggings. So they've done their job. My armour, I did put a video up on my Instagram as well. So my armour, all on the back, it's just from where I slid, and my hoodie was destroyed. My gloves had no damage to them, even though I've got a nice little scar on my pinky now from where I hit the car. And then, yeah, obviously my helmet was destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why you wear the gear.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the minute I got a sports bike, I made mum and dad a promise I will always wear gear. And obviously, coming in the summer, it's getting really hot, so the leather jacket was just getting too much. That's why I bought the armour, the Fox armour. So it had armour on the shoulders, elbows, all down the arms. And they say it's not really rated for roads. It saved my life. Like, they thought I broke my back, because at the time they didn't realise until they cut my hoodie off that I had armour underneath. They thought, oh, here we go, it's just another rider without any gear on. And then as soon as they started cutting my jumper, they're like, oh, you've got armour. I'm like, yeah, damn straight.
Yeah, thank
I
God.
wouldn't ride without it, you know?
Yeah.
So they're like, no, that's definitely done its job.
So let's rewind a little bit. You slid for 50 metres.
Yeah.
So you've come off the bike, you've pulled on the front brake. So you're
I've hit the front and the rear to try and stop.
Yeah.
Which I've had to do it a couple of times. Perth drivers, some of them are just shocking. So there's been a couple of times I've had to try and stop like that. I've dropped my bike a couple of times because of it, because you're able to stop, but you've still got that momentum behind you, so you drop your bike. But it's just this one occasion, yeah.
So at your estimation, if you were travelling at around 60, 70 Ks, you hit the brake, you probably would have come off at the bike maybe at 30 Ks an hour, 40 Ks an hour. And you're sliding at that speed for about 50 metres.
Yeah. So they said, yeah, it was about between 40, 50 metres, and the bike was I can still remember the bike would have been from here to the front of the shop. And I've just seen old mate, so there was a tow truck as well, and he's pulled over just down near my bike, and he's come running up, and I'm like, can you turn my bike off? He's like, it's off, and I'm like, okay. So, but yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And that's what the nurses said, they're like, it just rolled and slid, it's just, They were
And there's another accident there. They're on the way
down
to
the way.
down the way. So yeah, apparently lightning does strike twice in the same spot. Wow.
It was just the way that the traffic stopped. Like, so the police came in. That happened on a Wednesday. The police came in to see me on Thursday. And they took my little my Insta. So I always had my Insta rolling. Unfortunately, the battery died. Like literally 2 minutes before the accident. So I got Leo to go through it, piss circuit. When he came to the hospital, I'm like, I don't want to see it, but do you want to see if it's on it? And he's like, the battery died. He's like, oh, that's handy, isn't it? So there's nothing on there. He got, so I became really good friends with the sergeant that came to the accident. His name's Chris. He's amazing. He's actually a writer himself. He said he got 9 statements.
Wow.
He goes, everyone that's seen it came over and said, like, yeah, I wasn't speeding, I wasn't tailgating, I wasn't riding silly, I wasn't lane splitting. It was just the traffic stopped and I've done the right thing, tried to go down the side, and unfortunately I just clipped the car.
So this is something that I want to highlight as well. You know, having heard it in more detail now, there is literally nothing you could have done differently that would have changed the outcome.
Probably could have been, I was only in 2nd or 3rd gear, I think it might have been in 3rd. I could have been maybe a less gear, maybe might have helped me pull up a bit quicker. You know, it just happens so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, you hear people talk about it who have been in an accident, and then when you have that accident yourself, like I remember cruising and then just seeing everything stop and just trying to stop. Like I said, I remember seeing her eyes in the rearview mirror before I hit her. Like she was like, oh, like she knew it was coming. She went straight into shock. Like the cops left her in the car because it was obviously she's all up and down the side of her car, but because she just went straight into shock. It was horrible. Like in the ambulance, I'm like, is she okay? Like she was my main concern, other than myself. You know, it was, is she okay? Like this wasn't her fault. It was, if she hadn't have stopped, she would have gone up the car in front of her. And I'm like, is she okay? And I'm like, she's in shock, but she's fine. You know.
The poor girl was probably thinking it was something she did.
Well, she did blame herself, and I said to the cops, like, can you please tell her that it wasn't her fault? You know, and they're like, it wasn't really your fault, but because I legally hit her, like technically hit her, they're like, you are at fault, but we know it's not your fault. So we got a warning, like no fine or anything like that, just a bit of a warning. Like, can't even get you for riding silly. Like they went through all my camera footage. They're like, you were lane splitting in the city, because obviously the traffic in the city is ridiculous sometimes. And they're like, you weren't even doing anything wrong there. You're in 1st gear and you're only doing like 20 Ks while you were lane splitting, which is perfectly legal in WA. They're like, so, and as soon as it opened up, you got in your own lane. I'm like, yeah. I only just started getting comfortable lane splitting because can't do it on the Harley. Harley's just too big. Too big
and too wide. Yeah, I can barely lane split on the Benelli, you know, so I've had to buy new mirrors to make it more possible, but that's by the by. Yeah, wow. So, all right.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that experience as a rider?
Don't go on the freeway between 3 and 7 o'clock.
yeah, fair.
I've always ridden carefully anyway. Like, it's just, what do you do? It was just a freak accident, you know, like, go any slower and you can cause an accident. Go any silly, like faster, and it's, you know, I just stay off the freeway between those times.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And
still get the heebie-jeebies now and then.
Yeah, I'd imagine there'd be some, you know, trauma related with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you mind if I ask how you're coping with that?
Yeah, no, really good. I think because I've spoken about it with everyone. Like, anyone asks me a question, I tell them. Like, I'm not going to bottle it all in. That's not who I am. People who know me know I don't shut up. So, you know, anyone asks, I'm happy to show them photos, happy to talk about it. You know, I had a lady come and see me in the hospital, a shrink. She's like, do you want to talk about it? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, because I processed it. Like, every night before I go to bed, like, I can still picture going into the car. And there's not really anything I could have done. Like, if I had gone straight up her ass, I probably wouldn't be sitting here because it would have been way worse. If I had tried to lane split, I probably would have hit another car because the traffic just came to such a sudden stop. It's just not much more I could have really done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have happened to anyone under the same conditions.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story.
And people who know me know I don't ride silly, especially on that bike. Like, I love that Z900. Well, than that much, I'm actually going to go get another one in the next couple of months. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's pretend now we're talking about someone who's thinking about learning how to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
What's the one key advice you'd give to them?
Make sure to have lessons. Definitely have your lessons. They will pay off in the long run because you're riding with people who ride themselves. Definitely. And find someone who likes shadowing. You know, find someone who's comfortable as well. You know, who's going to help. Like, I've had, I think over the last 12 months, 3 people reach out for shadowing, and they've all got their licenses now.
Oh, cool.
So quick. But you know, it's just a lot of people won't shadow, and it's like I've got a young girl who's supposed to catch up with her this break, but it's just been so busy this break. Momo Vroom, I think her sister is. She's completely new to riding, so you know, go and pick her up and just. I've always said, just let me know where you're comfortable riding. We'll stay off the main roads. We can go just to car parks so you can get used to like, going around.
And everyone's got a different starting point as well. Like I've chatted to a few riders who are ready to go on the open road after 2 or 3 lessons, and that's really brave. Not something that I would do. I think with all the lessons that I had, I think it took me a good 3 months before I was confident to go out on the open road, even with my instructor.
Yeah.
But everyone's different. Some people
go and buy gear. Go and buy like proper jackets and pants and stuff like that, you know. Go and spend your money on your gear. Don't worry about buying food and drinks and fuel and all that. Most of us can afford to do that ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people, a lot of shadows say, you know, coffee or burger is fine, you know, but I found that when people were shadowing me, they said, no, I offered to pay, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm very much like that. Like, a lot of the kids are like, oh, you know, buy your fuel. And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Save your money.
The Perth community is good for that. Yeah, they're so good.
You know, like, go and put it towards a new set of riding pants or a new set of riding boots or a new jacket or a new helmet or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Just on that, I don't think we can understate the importance of good quality gear as well.
Yeah.
Like there's this helmet over here. Not only is she a good-looking piece of lid, the old Diablo helmet, I was quite happy to spend $1,000 on that because the helmet that I had previously, it ticked all the boxes safety-wise, but it was $150.
Yeah.
And I thought, if shit hit the fan, would that have served me better than this thing over here? I don't think it would have.
Cheaper quality, probably not so much. Like the helmet I had the accident in, that was I think $600. HJC, I love HJC.
They're a good brand, yeah. Shout out to HJC.
Yeah, like I've got this one, and I've got the white one at home as well. I bought the white one with the green on it for the Z900 for a photo shoot. And then they're good helmets, they're good quality. It's just, and they've done their job. And I'll always wear HJC, especially after my accident. You know, I didn't realise I'd hit my head until I just had a look at my helmet. So my other helmet had like scratches all down the side, had bits missing off the back. Like I didn't even realise I'd hit my head.
Wow.
That's definitely make sure you get a good quality helmet.
Yep.
They are a bit expensive, but they're going to save your life at the end of the day. You know, like, you'd have to, I think Inari might have done something like that with their cheap helmets. You know,
And other gear as well. So I'm a stickler for Kevlar line pants.
That's what I've got on now.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I've got big bum and big thigh, so I don't fit into like the standard sizing clothes. So Bikers Gear Australia, I reached out and started talking to them, and they've actually got the jeans. So the jeans that I'm wearing now, these are all lined as well, and they're $160. So they're
good value.
Very good value. So I've got about 3 or 4 pair of them now.
Excellent.
I've got my Street Mob hoodie that I usually ride in. It's got food on it the other day, so it's a wash.
Is that padded and armoured as well?
Yeah, it's got the armour in it.
Yeah, very good.
And I've got another armoured hoodie that I ride in. It's Misfits. I haven't ridden in that for a little while though. It's just been so hot.
Yeah.
But I've got plenty of jackets at home, armoured jackets as well. Like I've got just a normal It's not the Dainese, it's the other one. Ergon.
Oh yeah,
Ergon.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I've got a couple of those leather jackets at home that I ride in winter. Just chuck a hoodie over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't understate how important it is to have good gear.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge. There's a lot of people out there who won't wear gear, and that's each to their own. I'm not going to sit here and go, you should wear gear. Like, it's, at the end of the day, it's your body. If that's what you want to wear and you're comfortable, more power to you.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
my accident, though, I will never not ride in at least armoured jeans or pants.
Yeah, I have to admit, since I started riding, there has been that temptation just to, go without the gear. But you don't want that one time to be the one time.
Well, look what happened. Like, that one time I nearly didn't wear gear and I had a big accident.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way it happened, like when I finally, because I was in hospital for 3 weeks, when I finally got home, I'm like, there's the jeans,
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Do you still have the jeans? Or have you thrown the jeans out?
The riding pants that I was
Yeah.
in, no, they got thrown out.
Did you happen to take a picture of the jeans after the
No.
accident? Okay. Oh,
They were destroyed.
yeah.
They were completely destroyed.
So we'll have to create the mental image of the jeans being completely torn to shreds.
Yeah, so imagine like all at the top here ripped and a little hole there, and then just cut. They just cut everything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Kaz, what an incredible story. Thank you for taking the time to share that with us.
Yeah.
And I know that the people watching this will glean something from it and learn something about motorcycle safety.
Yeah.
And even when you're doing the right things, that it can go really bad, just to be extra careful.
Yeah, no, that's it. You see how many people have accidents who. So when I had mine, they're just the group that I was riding with. There was just heaps of us. So Tom broke his femur. Lucas came off and hurt his knee and his ankle. Then I had my accident. Then James came off and hurt his knee in there. And then Jack got hit by the car up in Malaga. That was a bad one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just seemed to have had a really bad dominoes effect there for a little while.
Goodness me.
One after another. It's crazy.
And it just seems to be more people getting hurt on two wheels these days.
Yeah, and it's, it's not always our fault either. Like cars, and you see it on video footage all the time, cars changing lanes without indicating. Like, I was talking to one of the boys the other night on Instagram, he got hit by a car, little Volkswagen. No, didn't look, no indicators, cleaned him up. Smashed his bike up. So it's
Sad. It's
not an
unavoidable.
added extra, they're there to be used,
What's the stick for? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's this little button here do?
Okay, well, if people want to follow you on Instagram, they can go to accounts
Yeah, Tars.83.
Tars.83. Yeah.
Devil with the green eyes.
Devil with the green eye. The content is killer, and you may even be open, if you don't mind, people reaching out and asking you about motorcycle safety or about your experience, if they want to find out more through this.
Always happy to answer questions and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Definitely, and anyone who ever wants to shadow, unfortunately do 8 and 6, so when I'm home, try and get out riding. My Harley's playing up a little bit at the moment, but get a new bike soon. And
Very good.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for the chat, Taz, and good to meet you.